So a buddy of mine sent me a video. Uh, it was just a screen that said something along the lines of the war. The war will be long. The war something or something, and the war will scar you forever. And the video was made by a guy called Security Guy 42. I'll put a link in the description. And it was just just a screen that said that, whatever I paraphrase, but it was a guy just kind of describing this war that's supposedly coming, Civil War Part Two or whatever, the Second Civil War. Now, for me personally, um, I don't really want war to come. I don't know if it's going to happen. There are some days where I'm just angry, and like I romanticize, much like movies do. I'll romanticize a civil war in my head, and it's just basically me out in the woods trying to survive, building fires and hunting for food and raiding, like, I don't know, Wegmans and whatnot. But it's a very romanticized version of what war would be like, and those are days where I'm just really angry. Very few and far between. But generally speaking, I know I don't want a war. I don't want a civil war. I don't think anybody does. But this guy made some good points that, like, it seems like they're pre-programming us for it to happen. I'm not convinced that it will happen, but this buddy of mine who sent me this video, hopefully I can get him on here to talk sometime, because he like what he has to say. He's convinced that it's coming. He's 100% convinced that war is coming. So I don't know. You know, the guy in the video, Security Guy 42. I don't. He sounds familiar, but I don't think I've seen any of his other videos, though I may have. He said that really whoever fires the first shot in this civil war will be the losers ultimately. He said there will be no winners really. But then he also went on to say that us patriots, will win against Antifa, those kind of people. It, just watch the video if you're interested. It's very like detailed. He goes into like extreme detail about war and what could possibly happen, and it's a very detailed description while you're staring at this ominous whiteboard that says the war will not be short, something, the war, and the war will scar you forever, underlined, underlined, underlined. And he just goes into great detail, and you know he sounded convinced that there's war, that we're on the brink of war here. I'm not sure. It doesn't feel like it in my nice little valley I live in. But my buddy who sent me this video lives in the city, and he says that it's very tense up there, that the liberals, the left, people who generally identify on the left of the political spectrum, are very on edge, and just they're very triggered and angry, like very angry. So if it does happen, I'm thinking that the left will pull the trigger. I'm thinking that Trump being reelected in 2020 this year, which I think will happen, could be a catalyst. Could start something that may trigger something else, that may trigger an all-out civil war. I don't know. I can't even imagine like what it would be like, what a civil war would be like. Would the U.S. military be involved? And where would they stand? Like what would it be? Would it be a coup? Would the left get together? Like that's kind of what I imagine if Trump gets elected. There would be, all the crazy liberal politicians out there would get together, gather their. Hello.
Hey.
My brother needed to borrow $1. Anyways, what was I saying? Yeah. So if Trump wins the 2020 election, which I think he will, um, the left will rally, and they'll rally Antifa and God knows who else. They could call on some communist countries for help. Russia doesn't come to mind. China, maybe. Cuba, I don't know. But it's just like weird to think. Where would the military be? Would it split? You know, would it split down the middle? Those loyal to the so-called leftists and those loyal to the politically right. I don't know. And where would we fall? Would we just form local militias? If war comes, the cities are screwed. Like if a civil war broke out, the cities would just turn to chaos, and that would trickle down and down. Um, I live 45 minutes away from a pretty major city, and it just seems like after they're done killing one another up there, they might band together and come down and look for resources. It's going to be about where to get food, medicine, water. It's really going to be a war for resources, ultimately. So yeah, I don't know. I just watched that video and I was like, I don't want to believe that, but I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think? All right. Well, that's all that was on my mind this evening. Yeah. Civil War Part 2. All right. Good night, everybody. This is Sean Kelly. I love you all. Thank you all. Good night. God bless.